The insane demands from single women are starting to fatigue everyone involved.
I'm going to read off a profile that expresses a sentiment amongst women.
Female, late 20s, based in the US, hospital administration. Average looking in my opinion. I'm looking for someone who is similar to me in looks. Prefer if he's over 5'10", but that's not a deal breaker. Ideally, I'd prefer not to relocate, but will consider it on a case-by-case basis. I would like someone who has a provider mindset.
Of course she would.
As I do not plan on working after marriage. Someone who earns a take-home of $200,000 at minimum.
No plans to work, and clearly no plans to spend less. Just demand a top 5% earner. Problem solved. Girl math.
I also expect him to take part in household duties equally. If we decide to have children, he must be an active father, taking an equal role as myself.
Average looking, late 20s, looking for a top 5% earner to fund her existence, but she's a strong modern woman, so it's still 50-50 at home. Deal of a lifetime.
I mean, I'm not a man, but I don't know who would take this.
But she saw a childless escort on Instagram tell her it's the bare minimum.
Like, are we missing the fact that he will have to put his time, effort, and energy, and probably a significant amount of it, towards providing for your family financially, especially in these times? And then if you want to have him do things equally with you at home, even though you are not working and even though you don't have any children right now, I just don't know how that would seem to make sense to someone.
Since stopped being a requirement for these broads a long time ago. It got replaced with a real man would, and I deserve better.
Traditional gender roles may give you the ick, which is why you were expecting equal participation from your husband in anything household related. However, when you are asking for a provider husband, you're essentially opting into traditional gender roles yourself.
Isn't it interesting how often the gender role assignments somehow stop right where her responsibilities would start? Must just be a coincidence that real men bring the money and they deserve it for being a girl.
Unpopular opinion that I just debated with Andrew, but I think that men should pay for every single date. And I don't even think that is, I don't know. I just think the standards these days, it's crazy. It's crazy.
No, the crazy thing is competing against men for wages while expecting them to sponsor you so you can save your own money, spend theirs, and still feel like a special snowflake by enjoying the benefits of a different social role without actually fulfilling it.
Are you just giving me the silent treatment now? You don't agree?
Are you asking a question?
Well, yeah, I'm saying if you ask someone out, then don't you think that they should pay for it?
No, I think you should. But also, they're guys are the only person that asks people out. 90% of the time.
Yeah, he correctly pointed out men mostly do the asking, and there is an expectation that they do so. So the who ask pays rule magically ends with men paying. What a coincidence.
It takes a lot of work to be a girl. And I think guys don't realize that, you know? It takes a lot of time and effort and money.
Yeah, I mean, I pay for dates, so I really can't talk about it too much, but...
Be a big girl. Take responsibility for your own purchases. Only in modernity could we end up with women trying to bill men for both putting things on and taking them off. This sort of controlling BS rarely gets addressed, but when it does, it's long overdue.
I want him to be in control. Like, I'm desperate for him to be the man that I know that he is.
He is the man you know he is.
Because I need him to step up and he doesn't, and it just...
What would step up look like? Doing whatever you want, when you want it, as you want it? That's not stepping up. That's a piece of that gets rolled over.
Men are supposed to lead, and that comes from bitch who doesn't listen.
Well, that was my question. I just want to figure out how I can be a D, but make him feel like he's the man.
Now, make him feel like he's the man. Did y'all hear that? That's the problem. I don't know that you have a future person. You're so committed to making everybody else the problem. He's the weak one that you got to make strong, give him the illusion that he's the man. Make him feel like he's the man.
She doesn't realize she's the problem, and there's so many women like this. Yeah, she, and along with many other women, could use a healthy reality check like this, but what this guy says next does make him seem like a complete simp.
What do you have to say, Dean?
But I do think that Stephanie Because I remember when we first connected together, I mean, before we connected together, we worked together for 4 or 5 years. And I remember the first time we were intimate, I saw in her eyes, into her soul.
Yes.
There's a greatness and a purity there.
That feeling is what has kept you here, and that's why I think you should make this work in spite of all that I just said.
The sort of humbling that woman received is unheard of, which is a big reason we see women behave the way they do, like wanting a man with a $200,000 salary to provide while still insisting the housework be 50-50.
I mean, I'm not a man, but I don't know who would take this.